Imagine a fashion show where the models aren't strutting down the runway in your typical suit or dresses. Instead, they're gliding down in dystopian robes, massive platform boots, and shapes that look like they're straight out of a futuristic dream or maybe a nightmare. In the crowd, there's a mix of celebrities, fashion editors, and critiques who just can't keep their eyes off. Welcome to the world of Rick Owens, a fashion designer who didn't just slip up into the fashion scene. He shattered all the rules and redefined fashion. Today I want to take you inside the world of Rick Owens. So we'll start from the beginning, how he started getting into fashion, and then we'll trace how the brand exploded onto the global stage. And finally, we'll see where he stands today. So let's rewind to 1962. Rick Owens was born in a small town in California called Porterville. He grew up in that town and started studying art, but then moved to study fashion at Otis College of Art and Design in Los Angeles. But here's the twist. He dropped out before graduating, and early on, Rick was cutting patterns for knockoff clothing companies on Hollywood Boulevard, which is kind of ironic because his future fashion wouldn't be cheap or copied. It would be bold and original. In 1994, Rick started his own label out of a tiny shop in Los Angeles. His style was like nothing else at the time. It was minimalist but raw, often looking torn or draped like it was unfinished on purpose. Rick said in an interview he wanted to dress like the cool kids smoking behind the gym. His style was stripped down, moody, and dark, which was a complete contrast of the early fashion trends of the 90s. But this success wasn't overnight. Rick started turning heads in 2001 when Vogue's editor Anna Wintour helped him host his first show in New York. This show was called Sparrow and was full of dramatic and striking clothes. Once the brand got big enough, he moved to Paris, the epicenter of fashion. Paris embraced his avant-garde mix of gothic vibes and glam rock energy. Famous people like A$AP Rocky, Kanye West, Rihanna, and Beyonce all have been seen wearing his clothes, with A$AP Rocky even saying in a song, "Rick Owens usually what I'm dressed in," which helped boost his brand into pop culture fame. Business of Fashion said Rick Owens was one of the most influential designers of the 21st century for challenging old ideas like beauty, gender, and masculinity. His shoes, the Geo baskets, even though they cost a pretty penny, became a streetwear must-have. And Rick said, "I never wanted to be cool, I wanted to be influential." So where is the brand at today? Rick Owens' brand is doing better than ever and has men's and women's clothing line, fragrances, furniture, and accessories. They've also collaborated with big names like Adidas, Doc Marten, Champion, and even Birkenstock to give his dark vibe to an everyday wear. Highsnobiety rated Rick Owens one of the top 10 most Googled fashion designers of the 24th century to show his inspiration to the Gen Z and millennial population. But Rick hasn't sold out or cheapened up. His new shows are even more bold. They mix performance art, political statements, and extreme silhouettes, with one show having models carry each other across the runway, and another show's soundtrack was just screams. Rick Owens' wife and creative partner, Michelle Lamy, remains his biggest muse. Their style makes each other inseparable. They both believe fashion should be expressive, emotional, and confrontational, with Rick saying in an interview, "If you're not shocking people, you're not doing anything interesting." Rick didn't make his brand for everybody, and that's why the brand worked. In a world full of fast fashion and recycled ideas, Rick remained unique, consistent, and fearless. So let's quickly recap. After going over the beginning, how he got into fashion, and tracing how the brand exploded onto the global stage, and finally seeing where the brand stands today, you should learn that Rick Owens isn't just a fashion designer. He's an artist, a philosopher, and a disruptor. His work reminds us that following the crowd isn't always the most successful idea, and it's better to be different. So thank you for coming on this journey with me today.